Hello, I'm Carlos Suarez, and this is the CRS channel. This is a re-recorded version of video 2. What may be mentioned in video 3 is in reference to the original video 2 and should be disregarded. Now, this video we're going to work on with factoring problems. You have to write the following expressions as a product of its factors. First, we have 2x cubed plus 7x squared y minus 4xy squared. Next, we have x cubed minus 8, and as the last exercise for factorization, we have x cubed plus 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. Okay, so for this exercise, which is 2a, you have to present 2x cubed plus 7x squared y minus 4xy squared as a product of its factors. So we factor out the x, and that leaves us with x times, within parentheses, 2x squared plus 7xy minus 4y squared. We have here we have an x squared, and here we have a y squared. So, and a term in xy. So we can consider this as a product of some ax ax plus b times cx plus ax plus by times cx plus dy. Okay, that means that a times c should be 2. What are the factors of 2? 1 and 2. That means that either a is 2 or 1, or b or c is 2 or 1. So we're going to make a equal to 2, and we're going to make c equal to 1. So we have 2x, we have x here, and we have that the y squared has as a coefficient 4. Which are the two factors of 4? That means that b times d should be equal to minus 4. Which are the factors of 4? 2 and 2, or 1 and 4. So we're either going to have 2 or minus 2 and minus 2, or minus 2 and 2, or we're going to have minus 1 and 4, or 4 and minus 1. So which of those four options can we choose? Okay, let's start with the 2's and try out with that. Okay, we should have that a d plus bc, which are the terms that are multiplying xy, should be equal to 7. If we multiply 2 times 2 and 2 times 1, well, the possible options on the additions would be either 4 plus 2, that would give us 6, or 2 or 4 minus 2, that would be 2, or it could be minus 4 and minus 2, or minus 4 and plus 2. In either case, that doesn't give us 7, so our choices are 1 and minus 4, or minus 1 and 4. Now, since the 7 is positive, if you multiply 4 times 2, that will give you 8. Which means that if you want to get 7, you would have to have 2 and minus 1. So that gives us that the best choice is to have 2x minus y and x plus 4y. That means that we can make b equal to minus 1 and d equal to plus 4. That means that AD would have to be equal to 8, and BC would have to be equal to -1, so that I can get 7. So we have then that x times 2x minus y times x plus 4y are the factors of 2x cubed plus 7x squared y minus 4xy squared. Okay, our next problem is x cubed minus 8, and we're going to have to express that in terms of its factors. And if you see this, x cubed is a perfect cube, and if you take 8, remember that 8 is 2 cubed. That means 2 to the third power. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. So here we have the case of the difference or subtraction between two cubes. So we are going to work out the general formula, which is a cubed minus b cubed. We're going to find out its factors. So we know that we have to have an a minus b somewhere multiplying some other term, which is that term going to be. Here we're going to prove with a squared plus ab plus b squared, so that we multiply these two and we get a times a squared a cubed. A times ab is a squared b. A times b squared is ab squared. Minus b times a squared is minus a squared b. Minus b times ab is minus ab squared. Minus b times b squared is minus b cubed. We can see that a squared b cancels out with minus a squared b, and ab squared cancels out with a minus ab squared. So we are left with a cubed minus b cubed. So factors of a cubed minus b cubed are a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So that leaves us with a cubed minus 8 being equal to x minus 2 times x squared plus 2x plus 4, where a is x and b is 2. Now we're going to the next problem, which is x cubed plus 2x squared minus 5x minus 6. We have to express that in terms of its factors. So we're going to check things out. We're going to partition this into two groups. We have that x cubed plus 2x squared has a common factor, which is x. If we factor out that x, we'd have x squared plus 2x. Now x squared plus 2x, if you remember well, are two terms of the expansion of x plus 1 squared. X plus 1 squared is x squared plus the double product of x and 1, which is 2x, plus the square of 1, which is 1. Remember, x plus 1 squared is the square of x plus the double product of x and 1 plus the square of 1. That's x squared plus 2x plus 1. So if I have x squared plus 2x here, all I have to do is add and subtract x. Remember that I have factored out this x previously. So I add and subtract an x, which means that I have x cubed plus 2x squared plus x, and since I subtracted the x, I have minus 6x, which is minus 5x minus x. So I have x cubed plus 2x squared plus x. I factor out the x, and that leaves us with x times x squared plus 2x plus 1. And here I have I can factor out this minus 6, and I'm left with minus 6 times x plus 1. So I know then that x squared plus 2x plus 1 is x plus 1 squared. So I have x times x plus 1 squared minus 6 times x plus 1. So I can factor out the x plus 1, and I have x plus 1 times, within brackets, x times x plus 1 minus 6. So let's work out the term within the brackets. X times x is x squared. X times 1 is x, and I have x squared plus x minus 6. Okay. Since this is a quadratic expression in which the coefficient of x squared is 1, that means that is the factors are of the type of the form x plus a times x plus b. So that a times b equals minus 6 and a plus b equals 1, which are the factors of minus 6, either minus 1 and 6, or 6 and minus 1, minus 2 and 3, or minus 3 and 2. Which of those would give me that if I add them, I would get plus 1. Well, that's not 6 and 1, that's not minus 1 and 6. So either minus 6 and 1 or 6 and minus 1. Those don't satisfy those conditions. So I'm left with 3 and 2, either minus 3 and plus 2 or 2 and minus 3. Which of those two should I choose? Well, since this is plus 1, I have to choose plus 3 and minus 2. So I have x plus 1 times x plus 3 times x minus 2. Remember, x times x is x squared, x times minus 2 is minus 2x, 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times minus 2 is minus 6. So that means that minus 2x plus 3x is 1, and minus 2 times 3 is minus 6. So the factors here are x plus 1 times x plus 3 times x minus 2. Okay, in the next video, which is the video 3, I will solve this exercise in a different way. And then we'll follow on to the divisions of algebraic expressions.